So I don't know. I think the main problem is that this country's culture, our economy is embedded in uh, wars, which is not a good thing. It should have been rather invested in higher levels of military defense capabilities. Rather than spending the money on war, we should have been spending the money on advancements in technology. Does that make sense? We are not spending it on the advancements of technology because it's not as profitable as it is to just keep having wars. If you keep having war, you keep using ammunition, you keep using weapons, you keep using clothing, you keep using socks, toothpaste, toothbrushes, all these things in the military industrial complex, the fuel, everything that comes with making wars. So it is the greed of our political system that is the problem. And that even includes as far as the criminal justice system. It's the same thing. I watched a video the other day that just made me so angry. It was a young girl who was still in high school or whatever. She was 19 years old. 19. 19. She's still in high school, right? Now, all she needed was about 30 minutes with a counselor to explain to her how life is and shit. Instead of that, they were ordering her, being authoritative with her, touching her, pissing her off, and she ended up, jerking her arm away, and they charged her with a felony. Now, her whole life is going to be strapped with that felony. She's not going to go to prison. She's going to have that felony. This is the trap that they've been using on young people all over the country, primarily in our communities, but it's not just our communities, white communities too. It is the system of things of keeping people down. Instead of educating our children, we're taking books out of schools. We're taking the funding out of schools. We're taking the education. Just imagine that. We're taking the funding out of schools and building more prisons. What's that woman's name? What's her name? Huckabee, the Huckabee girl. That used to be Trump's press secretary. She's the governor of Arkansas now. Rather than spend money in schools, they have a $2 billion surplus in Arkansas. She says she's using that money to build more prisons. This is what's wrong with the country. It's an entire network of jobs and wealth built around the criminal justice system rather than education and advancements in technology. And this is all coming to a head. And you know what? I don't think things are going to get any better. I don't. Elon Musk said one thing that nobody gave him credit for. That this country, no, it was a Swami. This country is racist and unrepentant. They're right about that. They're bringing in thousands. Wait, let me see here. Okay, first of all, this Elon Musk, he said the reason he is in the U.S. with his companies is because of the the HB1 visas, right? And he says that's the only reason we're here. So what you need to do is take a step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on the issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. That's what he threatened the United States with the other day. Why? Because hold on. Some of this stuff I had a screenshot, right? All right. Hold on. Okay. Musk, a naturalized U.S. citizen born in South Africa, has held an H-1B visa. And his electric car company, Tesla, obtained 724 of the visas this year. H-1B visas are typically for 3-year periods. though holders can extend them or apply for green cards. So you want to know where the legal immigration problem is in? H-1B visas. Now, hold on. The H-1B visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers in specialty occupations that require theoretical or technical expertise. Technology companies depend on it to hire tens of thousands of employees each year from countries like India and China. Let me say that again. Technology companies depend on it to hire tens of thousands of employees each year from countries like India and China. Now, just think about that. Each year, tens of thousands each year. These aren't even, it's non-immigrant visas, right? These are just visas. And they can extend them, the 3-year visas, and then they can extend them or then apply for a green card. There it is right there. So you want to know why they're not going to stop illegal immigration? They're not going to stop immigration, period, because they're pimping them. No, they're pimping them. Okay, corporations love H-1B visas because they allow the company to pay below market wages and control the foreigners that they hire, because the employers, not the workers, own the visas. If a newly imported foreigner leaves the sponsoring company, he has to leave the country. Somebody else was talking about that. I think it was, what is his name? HT was talking about that. If he did bring her over here, he would bring her over here on an H-1B visa. That way, if she doesn't act right, she can ship back to where the fuck she came from. I'm just saying, this tens of thousands of people each year now. Each year. And they all have 3-year visas that can be extended and then given green cards. This is what's going on in this country. So when they say, we want to deport everybody, a lot of these people can't be deported. Because that alone, the H-1B visa program itself is an invasion of the United States. And tech companies are using them, big tech companies. So there you go. There you have it. Now hold on a minute. I want you to hear what one of the most respected scientists in this country has to say about the United States. We keep our people dumb on purpose because we're too busy spending money in the criminal justice system. I called the White House one time when under Obama. I said, hey, I want to know how many people are walking around with felonies that aren't incarcerated. And the woman said, well, we can't give you that statistic. They're not keeping that statistic. But what we can tell you is how many people are predicted to have felonies in the future. I said, whoa. Just think about that. They can tell you, in other words, there's a certain quota of people that must receive felonies each year in order to maintain the level of employment in the criminal justice system. And that includes everybody. We're not just talking about prisons. We're talking about detention centers. We're talking about parole officers, probation officers. We're talking about task force for prosecution, task force for drug enforcement, task force for this, task force for that. The whole system, the parole system, all of it together. The food, the clothing, all of the things that come with the criminal justice system has to be maintained. They have to keep a certain number of them rotating in and out of the system to maintain it. Now, I know. So we're too busy doing that to our own country. Eventually, This country has no choice but to do one of two things: repent, or we're going to be ran by that. It's going to all go falling apart. It is, and you can see the fight now. They're fighting about immigration and HB1 visas and about our culture and way of life and keeping our people stupid. We are deliberately keeping the city like Chicago. Just take all the money out. Take all the money out of these cities. Take the money out. Take the money out of the school system. Just nope, nope, nope. Put it into the criminal justice system. Take it out of the schools, and they're putting it into the criminal justice. That is the playbook. And it's creating all kinds of jobs in the criminal justice system. Oh, big time job. I mean, jobs with full benefits and everything. It is a system. And then those people don't live in the city. They live out in the suburbs in their own communities with their money. The money from the system is being carried outside of the system where they live. They don't live in Chicago. They live outside of Chicago. And just that goes for everywhere. Baltimore, it goes all over the country, everywhere. Oakland, California, you name it. It's the same system all over the country. And it was the revolution. I remember them talking about it in the 1990s. That if you're not for the revolution, you're done. We're all going to come and get you and remove you. It is the revolution of this system provided all these jobs in brand new communities and all these suburbs all over the country to build brand new houses, all with benefits, all the great schools in their fucking communities, fantastic schools in their communities, but in the cities that they are pillaging by criminalizing everybody, ain't no money. Ain't no jobs. The jobs aren't paying nothing. They're low-paying wages. They barely can't even pay the rent. So you want to know why people are robbing and stealing and they can't get a job. Anyway, and if they do get a job, it barely is enough to pay the rent. They're like, okay, I'm working just to pay the rent? That's it? I ain't got nothing left over? And people are rebelling against. I know I did. I hitchhiked for 6 years. I'm like, everywhere I went, I was getting this job. Well, hold on a minute here. Almost all my money is going towards living expenses. I mean, you had to get food stamps just to eat. So this stuff is not funny to me, and it's the problem. And then they keep every year saying we must raise the rent. Why? Why are we raising the cost of living? Why are we raising the rent? No, it is a system that keeps everybody from not making progress. Says, no, we must every year, the cost of living, we must raise all the prices everywhere every year so that these housing prices go up, so that their equity in homes goes up, so that the stock market and the money they get to play around with, all this free money and shit. This is our system, our culture, our country is unsustainable. It is all coming to a head. It's no longer sustainable. The prices are too high. You go to buy, I bought 2 steaks here a couple weeks ago. It was $55 fucking dollars. $55 for 2 steaks. $55 for 2 steaks. This is insane. Oh, blame all that on Biden? Really? You're going to blame everything on Biden? So what did Biden do to create inflation? Name one thing he did. Name something he did that created inflation. So I'm just saying, and now you're going to put Trump in there? What do you think is going to happen now? It's going to get even worse. They're going to hand out more felonies, more people without jobs, less people paying taxes, more people in prisons, just the system of things, right, is sucking money out of communities, sucking the people out of the communities that can pay taxes, right? And then on the side, here are all these HB1 visas. I mean, maybe I'm one of the only ones looking at this shit. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the moment. These felonies are out of control. The criminal justice system needs to be dismantled. Yes, they need to be defunded. Everything needs to be reversed. We need to stop this predatory cost of living shit where every year everything must rise in cost. Why? Why does every year everything has to increase? See, every year all the prices increase so that people in these suburbs have more money to play with, but the people at the bottom can't afford the living expenses. That's the problem. There's so many homeless people all over this country, homeless communities everywhere. So you're going to blame all the homeless people? working people that are living in their cars, that are working at UPS stores in Salt Lake City, living on the fucking street in their cars because they can't afford to pay the rent, or better yet, if they pay the rent, almost all of their wages go towards paying the rent. Now, who thought that's a good idea? If all your wages are going towards paying the rent, you're not going to pay the rent. You'd rather live in your car and have some money left. Let's be honest. This is what we're talking about here. Anyway, I'm done ranting. It's about time for me to go to work anyway. But I'm just saying, man, maybe I'm the only one looking at this criminal justice system versus that is what's supporting all of this nonsense. And that's why they don't want crime to stop. That's why they don't want the schools to be funded. They don't want the people to focus on education. They don't want people going to tech schools. They would rather put money in the criminal justice system than schools. That's the game that's being played. It is totally the game that's being played. And in the meantime, the technical people that they need, instead of educating people here in the United States, they just say, oh, no. Let's bring them thousands of miles away, and we'll educate them and give them the jobs. This is stupidity. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the moment. Oh.
However, the information revolution has a weakness, and the weakness is precisely the educational system. The United States has the worst educational system known to science. Our graduates compete regularly at the level of third world countries. So how come the scientific establishment of the United States doesn't collapse? If we're producing a generation of dummies, if the stupid index of America keeps rising every year, just watch network television and reality shows, right? How come the scientific establishment of the United States doesn't collapse? Let me tell you something. Some of you may not know this. America has a secret weapon. That secret weapon is the H-1B. Without the H-1B, the scientific establishment of this country would collapse. Forget about Google. Forget about Silicon Valley. There would be no Silicon Valley without the H-1B. And you know what the H-1B is? It's the genius visa, okay? You realize that in the United States, 50% of all PhD candidates are foreign-born. At my system, one of the biggest in the United States, 100% of the PhD candidates are foreign-born. The United States is a magnet sucking up all the brains of the world, but now the brains are going back. Right? They're going back to China. They're going back to India. And people are saying, oh my God, there's a Silicon Valley in India now. Oh my God, there's a Silicon Valley in China. Duh. Where did it come from? It came from the United States. So don't tell me that science isn't the engine of prosperity. You remove the H-1B visa and you collapse the economy. In Wall Street Journal, editorialized against a congressman who wanted to ban the H-1B, saying they'll take jobs away from the American people. The Wall Street Journal said, look, there are no Americans who can take these jobs. These are at the highest level of high technology. They don't take away jobs from Americans. They create entire industries. And so that's why we have an Achilles heel, and that's the educational system.